So this is going to be another one of my experimental projects, but I think it's going to work out and be really cool. So April, and I know April's far off, but I want to go ahead and see how this is going to work and give us plenty of time to get them done. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and they have a campaign that I don't know who they is, but there's someone who has a campaign they've started called Pinwheels for Prevention. And there's a lot of, I know a couple elementary schools that I went to where they'll actually just buy little plastic pinwheels and sit them out front of the school. It's just an idea to get the word out and, try to remind people that this is something that, we definitely don't want happening. So I thought it would be cool if we made ceramic pinwheels. And then what I really want to do, and this is the part where I got to talk to the art teacher at my son and my daughter's elementary school. I want it to be like something between you all and some younger kids. So my idea is to have y'all make pinwheels out of clay and then send them to the elementary school and let the little guys paint them and then bring them back and attach them to dowel rods and do this big installation. I really want, if I have y'all make 4 of them a piece, and if you think about it, I got 4 classes, that's a whole lot of pinwheels. So it's going to be like this big installation that I'm going to talk to Mr. McGuffin and see if we can put at the circle out front in April, and then maybe do that for 2 weeks and then take it to the elementary school, which my son goes to Nichols, so that's where I'm going to start. See if we can put one out at Nichols too, like do it halfway here and halfway there, because I think it'll be a really cool thing to do. So we've got until April, so that way it'll give the little ones plenty of time to paint them and us to get them back. But I want to go ahead and see how well this is going to work. I made one yesterday, which if one of you all, it's back there on that brown box on the table, if one of you all would go get that for me, it's on a tray on our flat disc. I'm going to show y'all how to make them. What I want us to do, because I think varying sizes will look good, is I want to have 4-inch, you're going to do 1 4-inch slab. So this is the 4-inch, it's itty bitty. Then you're going to do 2 6-inch slabs and 1 8-inch slab. Thank you. Now it's got paper on it, but imagine it without paper. This is the 8-inch. So this is as big as we're going to get, because what I'm worried about is the weight of the ceramic being too much. And I know ceramic, they may not spin in the wind all that well, but it's more the visual of it. So we're going to try. So you've got your 4-inch, this is an 8-inch, and then you're going to do 2 6-inches, which I have not done yet. So once you do that, then you're going to take these old fun rulers and you're going to put an X on here. So you just line up corner to corner, and you don't want to actually cut through it. This is also called scoring. You're not actually going to cut through the whole thing. You're just going to give yourself a guideline at first. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then for decorative purposes, and because these are cool and I'm really excited about them, I got somebody to give me all these cool old buttons, and I'm real excited about it. And we're going to do impressions. So each one of these triangles, you're going to use a different button and just do impressions with these. And you might find that some of them you have to push in a little harder than others. And when you get out to the edge, if you push real hard, it's going to squish out. But I think for this, it'll be okay. And I know this is hard to see on the video, but they're there. So each one, and you can see on this one, I use these same buttons. Each one has a different pattern on it, but you can see they're underneath. Then here comes the fun part, and you got to do this kind of methodically, otherwise you'll get lost. So you're going to take this line from the middle out here, and you're only going to cut about halfway. So I'm going to start about halfway out, maybe a little bit more than halfway, and I'm going to cut that out to the corner, okay? It doesn't matter which side you start on. I'm left-handed, so it's easier for me to start on the left side. If you want to start on the right side, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that once you start, you do it the same way all the way around. So you're going to take, once you get all your impressions, you're going to take this, and the clay needs to be good and wet for this to happen, otherwise it's going to break. So we want to do these as soon as we make the slabs so they stay good and wet. You're going to take this and you're going to curl it over, and you may have to do a little pinching, especially if your clay is thick. You want to curl it over until it reaches the middle. Once it reaches the middle, then you're going to score and slip, and I didn't bring the slip over here, but let's pretend. You're gonna score and slip and put that one down, okay? Then again, and I wanna fix if there's any cracks back here, because this clay that I got out was a little dry. I wanna fix the this part so it looks nice, and then I wanna straighten up these edges too so they don't look super bad. If there's paper where you can't see, peel that off, but otherwise it's fine, it'll burn off. Just make sure you've got a good attachment here in the center. And this we want to leave curled up so it gets that pinwheel idea. Then this is where the methodical thing comes in. I'm just going to keep turning it this way. Then I'm going to do this one. I'm going to start halfway out from the center, maybe a little bit more than halfway. I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to score on top of this one, and I want to score pretty good down in there. And then I'm going to put my slip on. I'm going to roll this one up, and I'm going to squish it down on there. And I'm pushing down pretty good so this will stay. You don't want to push down to the point where, like it got a little thin right there, you don't want to push down to the point where it's going to break right there. I'm going to spin it again in the same direction. I'm going to cut again. I'm going to take this left side, I'm going to score, and I'm going to roll this up, and I'm going to slip and score it down. And I've got a little bit of a break happening there, so I'm going to be careful with it. I'm going to turn it one more time. I'm going to roll this up. Trying not to break it. And I'm going to score and slip that down. So you've got a pretty thick center right here, but we're going to need that, I think, for in just a minute. And I'm going to clean this up, these little cracks that are happening back here. And if it's breaking, or if it's not got a good curl to it, kind of bump it up so it's got a good curl. Then the last thing you're going to do is take a piece of your leftover clay, make a little ball of clay. That might even be too much. Little ball of clay. And you're going to score in here, put some slip on there, score this, put some slip on there, and you're going to take this and squish it down to make like a little circular center for it. And then you're just going to take one of your buttons, and you might want to use a bigger one. I've got all different sizes. And you're going to squish it down in the middle, or you might do a couple of them to make a little interesting design in there. Then the last thing we need to do is, and I forgot my tool over there, somebody can run and go get off my desk one of the hole punch tools. You're going to take a hole punch tool, and this is the important part, because otherwise you just have a flat pinwheel. It's got to have that hole in the middle, and it needs to go all the way through, so that when I go to attach them to the stakes or the dowel rods or whatever I use, I have a place to put the screw, and it'll be loose. So if we have a monsoon come through that will actually move the ceramic, it will spin around. So you're going to take the hole punchy tool and go right through the center, and make sure you go all the way through the pinwheel. Now, again, you're going to make 1 8x8, 2 6x6, and 1 4x4. What I did for the 4x4 is I made a pretty big slab, so I had a big enough piece of my extra to cut out my 4x4. You're welcome to do that. One thing I noticed about mine, and you all have already made your 6x6, so you don't have to redo this, but for the rest of my classes, I told y'all to use 2 of those white blonde slats to make your slabs. I think probably we need to bump it down to 1, because if it's really thick, it doesn't like to bend over and move, especially for this little one. This is too thick. I'm going to take that down about half of that and get a nice thin slab, because then it'll want to fold over better, because you can kind of see when I try to fold this over, there's not enough room to go all the way around with that. So this 4 definitely needs to be thinner. This is why you want to make sure that you've got paper underneath it so that it doesn't stick, because the thinner it is, the more it's going to want to stick. So you're going to do a 4-inch, 1 4-inch, 2 6-inch, and 1 8-inch, and make sure you do all this with it. You don't have to put your names on these, because once we fire them, I'm going to send them to the little guys. Unless you really want to make sure you get yours back, if you want to be able to keep them later, then once it gets a little stiffer, you're just going to pull it up and put your name on the back of them. Other than that, make sure that hole's in there, and we will figure out where to put them later because I don't have a whole lot of storage space, but I'm working on it. So that's what I got. Go do those.